In the aftermath of the 2024 election, America is even more divided than before. Half the country fears the end of democracy, and the other half welcomes it. As America inches toward the brink of authoritarian rule, now more than ever, we must force ourselves to have the necessary conversation. Welcome to the Necessary Conversation. I'm Chad Kultgen. With me is my sister, Haley Pope, and my parents, Bob and Mary Lou. Of course, we are now in the aftermath of Trump's stunning victory, a historic victory in terms of the scope and breadth of it. We're going to get into all of that, of course. Do you have any ditties, Mom or Dad? Any rants?
No. You know I do.
Okay.
But should we do my other thing at the end then?
What thing?
Because did you not see my text?
Did you just send it? I didn't see.
And I only have 57% on my iPad, so if we go black, you'll know why. But I think that should. Okay. I have like several ditties, but I have the starting of a rap, and I don't think it's going to get any better. So I think maybe I should play it.
Do you have music with it?
Yes.
Well, you have to send it to me first.
Why?
So that I can play it in the show.
I've got it right here.
Okay.
I have it.
Okay.
Do you want me to do that?
Are we going to be able to hear it?
We can give it a try. We should.
All right, go for it. Go for it with your rap. This is a celebratory rap, I assume?
Kind of not.
Okay.
Here we go. The greatest election of our time. Don't call me crazy if you are a friend of mine. Haley ain't leaving, neither am I. Trump won this election, so Harris, bye-bye. Big things are coming. I can't wait to see. The golden years will be on us, you and me. Better economy, better health care. Let's do this together. I think we can for Trumpy Bear. Illegals, now nowhere to hide. You need to get out of here. You have some time. There will be changes along this path. We can do this together. Just ask. Okay, that's all I got. I didn't have a lot of time to prepare, as you can tell. I don't want to make this silly. I want to make this to tell Chad and Haley it's going to be okay. It really is going to be okay. Just give this time. And then, if you see things you don't like, make changes the right way through our government, through power, through making new laws. Do it that way. It's going to be okay.
Okay, Mom, thank you. I like the sentiment. You're trying to soothe us.
What kind of insane clown posse fucking riff you have in the background? Where the hell did you get that?
I just go find one on YouTube.
You have to email that to me so that I can actually play it in the show.
Okay.
Now, it's interesting. In the end, you say if you don't like things, make changes through the law. Do it through the government. And yet for the past 2 years on this very podcast, you and Dad have been advocating for murder in the streets because things didn't go your way. So now you want the opposite to be true for us, though. We don't get to say, now the metal's going to hit the meat.
That's yeah, except you guys are all talk.
Okay.
The metal's not going to hit the meat.
All right, we'll see.
That's not the message.
You're all going to crawl in your little hole and be quiet.
That's not the message.
Well, we'll get to who's crawled into a hole and is now quiet. Donald Trump.
No, he hasn't.
We'll get to that. We'll get to all these things. All right. Thank you for the message, Mom.
I just didn't have a lot of time, and people were asking me for it, so there you go. I have quick ditties. A robotic dog is patrolling Trump's Mar-a-Lago. Have you seen that for security reasons?
Oh, no.
Chad and Haley, I would like one for my birthday, please. They range
robot
from $1,500 all the way up to $250,000.
Okay.
Motherfucker, what? You got more money than me.
The Harris campaign reported they are $20 million in debt. Yet, she had raised over $1 billion for her campaign. As of October 16th, her campaign still had $118 million in the account. A lot of people want an audit. Where did that money go? Mm-hmm. A FEMA official told, and she was the head of this one region where the hurricane hit Milton hit, she told the workers to avoid any homes with Trump signs out front.
Okay.
She's in trouble. She was released of duties and fired. She needs to be in jail.
Okay.
Tomorrow is November 11th. It's Veterans Day. We need to salute your dad, your 2 grandpas, and 2 uncles. Salute. And a lot of other people.
Okay.
Time for Obama to leave D.C. He's been there since he was no longer president. Why is he still there? He needs to take those earpieces.
I mean, you get to live wherever you want to live in America.
Right. He's the only president in the history of the United States that has stayed.
Okay.
He also has other houses. I get that. But he's always there. He needs to take the earpieces, get out of town. She no longer needs him. Michael Jackson, I do believe, could still be alive. I've been watching those at night. I've been watching a lot of things on TikTok. I think he's alive.
Obama needs to leave Washington, D.C. Michael Jackson is still alive, I do believe.
These are my goodies. Hey, take them or leave them, okay?
Well, we're taking them. All right.
I think that Melania could have a body double. I've been watching a lot of that on TikTok.
She's in a hole somewhere, or at the very least is like, I don't do public appearances for less than $1 million now.
I do think she might have a body double,
agree.
too.
I think so, too. That video of her, in quotes, in the sunglasses, waving.
Yeah, that's not her.
That ain't her. I agree.
That ain't her. Okay,
and Putin does that all the time. Body doubles.
Love y'all.
All right.
Okay.
Now, let's move on. We're going to get into the meat of this, obviously. We are in the wake, literally the week of this unprecedented election. But we do have a question. It is a video question. Are you ready?
Oh, a video question. Yes.
Yeah. I can't show you the video, but you'll hear the audio.
Okay.
Ready?
Hi, Kultgen family. We are here from Cleveland, outside of the lovely Accepting Hive Bakery. We just saw the beautiful Haley, and we have a question. Where are you moving, and will you please take us with you?
Okay. So that's the video is these 3 women standing outside your bakery, Haley, Hive Bakery. They're asking, where are we going to move? Haley, where are you going?
So, knee-jerk reaction, we started looking at other countries and what it takes to get into them. So we have started the process if we need to move.
Yeah.
It's difficult. It's not an easy process, but we will do it if we have to. Ideally, I'll be able to stay in the country. If that's true, we have to move out of Texas, which is something we wanted to do anyway. So we'll have to go to a blue state.
California got open arms for you.
Yeah, California, Colorado, Washington, some of the shit on the East Coast. I mean, we've always wanted to move out of Texas, so that is inevitable. It's just a matter of like, how fast do we have to, and can we wait, you know, however many years? Like, I don't know what's going to transpire.
Yeah, we're going to get into that a little bit later. I have a topic that I wanted to discuss, which is what are the signs? Like, what will throw the switch for you to be like, oh, fuck, this is happening.
Go.
California, for what it's worth, Gavin Newsom, our governor, has already come out and basically said he's rallying the lawyers to make sure that legally California is going to protect itself against whatever Trump might try to do federally. So I do think Trump is not going to like Gavin Newsom very much, and it's going to be a very public back and forth between California government and Trump over the
It's going to be very simple. California is going to lose all their federal funding, and Newsom will be on his knees begging for mercy from Trump.
We'll see. California controls most of the country's food.
No, you're wrong.
Oh, okay.
It controls most of the country's fruit.
Okay. Well, there you have it. I'm not moving anywhere. I'm staying in LA.
People eat in this country
Yeah.
come from the belt.
Okay.
Okay. I'm going to stay in California and see what happens. Mom and Dad, are you moving?
Hell no.
In my rap, it was Haley ain't moving, and neither am I. Trump won the election, so Harris, bye-bye.
I didn't really answer the question. If we're moving out of the country, we've started looking at Vancouver and Scotland. If we are staying in the country, we're going to move either Pacific Northwest or East Coast.
Nice.
No, and West Coast? You asked me to move with you. I'll go to none of those places. For sure, I can't go to Scotland because Shiny Heine can't go there. I will not take him over the ocean. So
that's my mom's horse. All right.
Yeah.
Let's get into this show, shall we? Our first
Yes.
topic is, how have your weeks been? And I wanted to open this topic by telling you what happened to me literally the morning after the election. As many of us do, I wake up, I look at my phone, I go to Instagram, and I see two posts literally on top of each other. Those are the first two things I see. One is from Haley, one is from you, Mom, literally back to back. This is what I scroll through. The first picture I see is Haley from the neck down in her baker's apron, dusted with flour, holding a whisk, towel over the shoulder. And I'm going to read this entire thing that you wrote here, Haley, if you're cool with it.
Mm-hmm.
The caption reads, I honestly don't want to get up and go to work today. I have too much on my mind to think about fucking cookies, but alas, we'll be there. I'm embarrassed at this country. I'm embarrassed at this country I live in. Americans voted in a criminal with the most racist, misogynistic, xenophobic campaign to date over a woman. It was proven last night just how depraved our country is. I fear for my daughters, for my queer friends, for people of color, for all of us, including those who voted for Trump. They have no idea what's coming, and it's not just coming for us who voted blue. It's coming for every one of their children, for every one of their wives, daughters, sisters. Unfortunately, we're all going to feel this mistake for decades. With a red Senate and a fixed Supreme Court, I fear the worst. This feels different than 2016. More dread, more fear. We now have to brace ourselves for what comes next. It will be the darkest hour for this country. Democracy is lost. This isn't the America I want to live in. Then, the very next post immediately under it, Mom, was from you. It is a kind of deep fried meme, super neon colors, a horse running through a pasture, 5 American flag emojis. It says, let the golden age begin. And Travis Tritt's song is playing under it. It's a great day to be alive. And you have captioned it only hashtag great day, hashtag USA, hashtag golden age, hashtag 47, hashtag horse, hashtag horses, hashtag USA, hashtag. Now,
F you, Chad.
to say the difference between
Hashtag.
these was clearly stark. And I thought that it painted a very good picture, just in a little snapshot of our family, exactly what is happening in this country right now. There are many people who are more scared than they've ever been for where this governmental system is going. And then there are people on the other side that are like, the horses are running free. It's a great day to be alive. One of those two sides must be wrong. They cannot both be right. And the next 4 years is going to bear out to show us which of those is true.
Okay. Stop it.
What's going on there, Dad?
I'm pointing at who's wrong.
He's trying to point at you
Okay.
too that you're wrong, and he doesn't even know how to do it. So stop it.
All right. Well,
Jesus.
I just wanted to ask you, Haley, about this post. You say you have more dread, more fear now than you did in 2016.
I can't see you. There you are.
I don't
Yeah.
feel that way, but please explain that to me, because I do think it's, at this point, anybody who's listened to the show and agrees with us is
May-
curious, I think, about like, how are we going to deal with this
May I say
psychologically,
one more
emotionally?
thing? Can I
Yeah.
say one
Yeah.
more thing? Then
Sure.
Haley can answer that.
Go ahead.
The part where Haley said all of her words, what she was saying, she said that, what was the statement that a woman lost? It was that
Yeah.
he had beat a woman.
A
Well,
criminal with the
no.
most racist, misogynistic, xenophobic campaign to date won over a woman.
Over a woman.
Yeah.
Why one over a woman? The better candidate is the people you picked, whether it's man, woman, or not.
No,
It
that's
seems like it's
not
always
correct.
with Haley about a woman or a man.
That is
you know?
all it's about. If you look, we'll just get into this. It bleeds kind of right into the next topic, the numbers.
Let Haley answer that question.
Sorry,
that
go
you're
ahead, Haley.
after.
I mean, I think what's different this time around is that, just acknowledging that it wasn't just
Oh, what's this
MAGA
one?
that voted for Donald Trump. So there's a very large part of this population that voted for him. And I find that disgusting. And so kind of recognizing that this is now the country that we live in. I had hope going into this election. Like, surely enough people are smart enough to see through his bullshit. Do your research and fucking know what you're going into. And it's very clear how stupid America is. It's very clear how hateful America is, because you have to be a complete fucking idiot, or MAGA, which is also complete fucking idiots, to
Oh.
vote for Donald Trump.
Thanks.
So
Now,
Uh-huh.
no,
That's
mom,
true.
mom, You got no legs to stand on. Dad calls us fucking idiots every show. Literally
I'm
says
listening.
it.
Go
All
for
right.
it.
And you
So,
keep proving it.
the
every
idea
show.
that, you know, not only is our entire government against people like me, so is more than half of the country. They don't want us here. They don't want to see us here. There's a fear behind. I mean, I started receiving phone calls at 10 a.m. when we opened the day after election from MAGA in my community harassing me. I had to call the police.
Yeah.
And it ensued all week long. You fucking won, and you're still harassing
Sore
me.
winners, yeah.
And you know, I had people come in literally crying in fucking tears. I'm afraid for my Black son. I'm afraid for my queer daughter. There is a fear that everyone feels now that didn't exist in 2016. And it's because we have a red Senate, a red House, a red Supreme Court, fucking Donald Trump. He's hiring people like fucking Elon Musk, like the rich get richer. You're just going to take it all. And people are so fucking stupid. They don't see it.
Yeah.
You know, they think that the economy is going to get better, but he's been touting tariffs for like the last 3 months. I don't think they understand. Like, they're so fucking dumb. They don't get what's about to happen.
Well,
why is the stock market soaring in the first time in a long, long time? Stocks going up.
Well, stock market has steadily been increasing and showing record gains for the past couple of months. By the way, this is all under Biden. What's
that? That's because the stock market knew what was coming.
Yep.
Sure. Okay. So
but wait, we're also seeing shit like Project 2025 is fucking real. In Oklahoma, somebody messaged me and said in Oklahoma, like their superintendent or whatever, who's like xenophobic, he's like fucking all the shit, implementing Bibles in public schools, like effective almost immediately.
No, he's not.
She showed us the fucking emails to parents of schools.
Donald Trump knows of it, but he says he has nothing to do with it. I've read that over and over and over.
It is effectively happening. It's happening in Texas. Voucher programs now for public school. Women are dying on the fucking table because they can't get life-saving abortions. It is happening right fucking now in my state.
I Googled whether that little elementary that I taught at was going to be closed down.
You want me to pull it up? You want me to pull it up?
Absolutely no.
The actual elementary school just posted 2 days ago. Please fucking save us. We're having a large meeting and get together at town hall because we don't want to shut next year. You're wrong.
You know
what?
I think parents are afraid of getting their children's information pushed down their throat that they don't want. So they're taking them out of school and the numbers are going down. They're getting brainwashed. They don't want that.
That's real.
That's what's going on.
You guys just make shit up. You're just like Donald Trump. God. You make shit up and you just keep talking.
Oh my God.
Let's move into the numbers of this election. Now, Trump got fewer votes than he got in 2020 by 3 million roughly.
You know why? A lot of people didn't vote this year, but guess what? He won every swing state.
You know what?
I'm getting to it.
Okay.
There aren't enough votes to put Joe Biden in the White House over the last 4 years.
Are you having trouble talking with your breath?
No.
One every swing state, but in some of those swing states, they literally like coded abortion in their state constitution. How does that make sense?
Votes.
Right.
There were 160 million votes the last election. There are about 140 or 50 this time. Where do all those votes go?
What doesn't make sense?
They didn't fucking exist. Joe Biden is not the president.
Huh?
Those votes were never there.
You guys can't even do fucking simple math.
Stop.
What doesn't make sense is that they codified democratic policies in their state constitutions. How does that make sense?
You don't even know how to add.
Stop.
And you're calling
it's devolved to that. You don't even know how to add. You're just going to insult us for what reason?
Yeah. You don't know how to.
Haley
you don't know how to add.
This show insulting us again.
You do not know how to add. You never have.
Okay.
Somebody said this is going to happen.
What's
they
up?
said they would rather us stop this show than go on just fighting with each other.
We don't have to fight. You guys are the ones fighting.
Oh, we are.
Okay.
Yeah.
Let's just be quiet and let them talk.
Oh.
No, I don't want you to be quiet. Yes. The whole point of this show is for within a family, people that are completely divided by ideology.
How about you all admit you were wrong And that
Wrong about what?
the country's wrong about the election.
Oh, obviously we were. Our hopes for the election did not happen.
Well, just fucking admit it.
I just did.
Okay.
Yeah,
Are you satisfied?
sure. Now keep blowing smoke up everybody's ass.
I opened this entire show by saying Donald Trump won an unprecedented victory. Do you acknowledge that that is true? That I said that?
Yes.
You're angry that I'm not admitting this, but that's literally what the title of this episode is.
But
Trump
then you
wins.
start right back up with, okay, first of all, explain this to me.
Yeah.
And this is why I think you cannot add.
Okay.
There are approximately 150 million votes cast in this election.
But
Okay.
when
There
Biden
were 160 million votes
Yeah.
when Biden won the
like
election.
180, I thought.
No, it's 80 and 80.
Okay.
Yeah.
80 and 80 million.
That's
Yeah.
Okay. Where'd the other 10 million votes? They didn't exist. They never.
No, they didn't
fucking
vote.
exist.
They're just people that didn't vote because they
No,
were turned off by
that's
all this
not
shit.
true. That's not true.
How many people do you think are in America?
There are about 320 million.
So the votes do exist.
Well, I say
What are you
320
talking about?
million. There are actually 340 million when you count the 20 million illegals we
All right.
got here.
Let me get into the numbers since you're talking about math and the numbers. So this election, Donald Trump got 71.
Okay.
Let me talk.
Well, he didn't let me finish. There are 320 million total people in this country. Half of them aren't of voting age.
All right.
So 150 million is the max you can have in an election. And we had 160 million when Joe Biden became president, which tells me it was all rigged. He's not a legitimate president. He should have never been elected. And that is proven by the math.
All right.
Donald Trump won every swing state. I'd say this
And
election is
that's-
rigged, proven by the math.
Well, yeah,
Yeah.
it's not rigged this time. It was
Some of
rigged
those
last
states
time.
had Democratic governors win their
It was
races, but she
always-
lost.
That's what's going to happen to the Democratic governors.
It's rigged.
You give me
Everything's
an
rigged.
example.
They had Democratic governors and like
Don't find.
shit coded in their state constitution to
The one
protect
in Maine
abortion, like
Yeah.
Democratic
or in
policies.
Massachusetts, they're going to get all their federal funding cut off, and then we'll see how fast they flip on you.
I can
There's
show
also
you-
that.
They're
There's
all gonna
also the
flip on you.
excerpt. There's a video on TikTok going around of Rachel Maddow just showing Donald Trump literally
seen it.
saying 5-6 times, I don't need your votes. It doesn't matter.
Yeah.
I don't need your votes.
Stay home. We've already got the votes. He did
I
say that
know.
like 5 or
Saying
6 times.
that.
We're going to get to that. We're going to get to that.
And then also the Joe Rogan thing talking about Elon Musk with this app where he saw Trump win 4 hours before they even started tallying up.
Well, hell,
Yeah.
everybody knew he was going to win.
Yeah, we
All
knew
right.
that too.
We're going to get to that, to the
I told
possibility
you
of this.
it was going to be an electoral landslide.
say-
and
All right.
It was.
Let me
Can-
say
can-
one more thing that I'm
Yeah.
going to shut my mouth because all you guys are doing is fight. I received a map. I've received it from like 10 different people, and it showed by county where the votes were won and by whom. She only won around the Democratic cities, like the sanctuary
Yeah.
cities. Those were her counties she won. He won the whole state of those.
But she
usually.
won those counties by a smaller margin than Biden did in 2020. And,
Yes,
and
ever.
look, we're going to get to
Okay.
that specifically a little bit later. I would like
Okay.
to talk about these numbers that I've been trying to get to. Donald Trump
Just be
got
quiet. Let
71.85 million votes this year. Kamala Harris got 66.98. In 2020, Joe Biden had 81.28 and Trump had 74.22. So Trump did slide. He lost 3 million votes roughly. Then if we go all the way back to 2016, Hillary Clinton got 65.85 to Donald Trump's 62.98. So you're looking at Kamala Harris getting similar numbers to Hillary Clinton back in 2016, and obviously, vastly underperforming by about 15 million votes, give or take, Joe Biden in 2020. And Trump won all the swing states.
Food on the couch.
Where'd Mom go?
I have to go let
Kitty out.
So, Haley, who do you blame for this? If I may ask. Russian interference? There were bomb threats called into Georgia from Russia. We know that happened.
I don't even know what to think because I'm not a conspiracy theorist and I typically like take shit, for what
Yeah.
it is, but I do find some of those videos alarming of him,
I
we
agree.
don't need the votes, we don't need your votes. That's fucking suspicious. And that
I
he
agree.
won all swing states, that we have Democrats voted into state office, but like somehow he won that state. It just
Yeah.
doesn't add up. It doesn't make sense.
I agree.
So, I mean, like, who's going to look into it?
No one.
I don't
Because the
know.
Democrats are terrible at this, and it's going to be a peaceful transfer of power, and we can't
transfer,
go
yeah.
against the election results. The Democrats, like, for me, this election is like the Democratic Party is done. They had a candidate who seemed to have a groundswell of support, who seemed to have everybody behind her. They had more money than Trump. They had all of the advantages going into this, with maybe the exception of like not having a primary, Biden waiting too long, whatever. You can backseat or Monday morning quarterback that shit all day long. The fact that they were unable to win even a swing state, to me, is like, you got to get rid of everybody. They don't understand how to do elections. You're running against Donald Trump in what, as you're saying in your post, was the most misogynistic, racist, hate-filled campaign in the history of America.
He's a fucking criminal. He's
Yeah.
a criminal.
Which he's not now. All that goes away.
See, you guys
so
are saying
fucking
you think-
repulsive.
You guys are saying you think we're nuts, but yet we're saying you guys are nuts. And I promise, if you would see that map, she only won counties that were very populated in those sanctuary cities.
But that was the same as Biden.
She didn't win the black men vote or the Hispanic. They're tired of the economy, and they voted for Trump.
She did win those votes, just by a smaller margin than Biden did. And that's the key difference here. The same places she won in all those counties are the same places Biden won, but Biden won by a larger margin. So he carried those states. It's just like, and Trump, the whole team knew this. And you're telling me he's got Peter Thiel, Elon Musk, all these like genius, evil billionaires in there with him who are tech guys. They're looking at that and they're like, all you got to do is like change this by about 2% in these counties where she went. If you can shave off 2% of her margin there, you're going to win the whole state. And look, I don't know. I'm not saying that this was rigged necessarily.
Really?
But all those things. What's that?
Really? Oh my God. Here we go.
But I'm not also saying it's a possibility for the same reasons that I think you're talking about, Haley. There are multiple clips of him before the election saying, we don't need you to vote. What politician says that ever?
Those clips. Send me one. I've never seen
I'll send you the Rachel Maddow.
There's
thing.
like 5 fucking occurrences.
Send them to me. I've never seen them. All I have seen is him going out saying vote.
See, that's what's alarming to me. You haven't seen half the shit that's come out of his mouth, but you voted for him. And all of these terrible things that he's saying and all of this really fucking corrupt shit that he's been saying. You're like, I've never seen that. Why the fuck not?
I never have. I haven't.
Interesting. All right.
Have you seen the blowback now where like an entire group of men now have a slogan, your body, my choice? Have you seen that?
No.
How women are now in fucking danger of being sexually assaulted because of Donald Trump being a rapist in the White House?
Oh my God. Hey,
literally people on campuses holding signs that say property that men own, houses, cars, women, slaves.
No, have not seen that.
That has started. There is now a network of people sending text messages on random phones to Black universities that say you need to be ready at noon to get in the slave van. Your plantation is Group A.
Guess what? I did see
You're laughing at that, Dad?
That's not coming from...
Yeah, I'm laughing at that.
That's
Why?
not coming from...
Because the people that are saying that are just fucking stupid.
That had to be coming from outside the United States or something.
You think it's fucking stupid that an entire group of men are now rallying and their entire slogan is your body, my choice? You think that's
blah,
funny?
blah, 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 blah,
Wait.
Oh
No, Dad. You can't blah, blah, blah that. This is a big thing that's going to happen as a result of...
It's not a big thing.
It'll
go away in a week.
Okay, it won't. Do you remember his first go round? Do you remember all of the different the guys with tiki torches? You will not replace us. Do you remember the dude who drove a car into a crowd of protesters and killed somebody?
I remember a whole lot
Trump
of BLM
emboldens these kind of attitudes
and setting shit on fire. That's what I remember.
BLM, the summer of love.
Women
got away with all that.
Are terrified. Queer people are terrified. Black people are terrified.
But Dad, you're talking about, I remember people setting cities on fire and stuff. Do you know why that happened?
Yeah.
Because a
George
video came
Soros
out
gave him
of a
money.
white cop murdering a black guy.
Yeah. Right. And now that isn't murder. It was, what was it? Oh, manslaughter.
Huh? No, it was murder. He went to
No.
jail for that.
Yeah.
That
He
cop.
went to jail for manslaughter, that cop.
And now all of
Okay.
that shit is going to
Google
be
away,
tenfold.
motherfucker.
All right.
All of that shit is going to happen tenfold, and nobody's
Yeah.
going to be held accountable.
I don't see that. I really don't feel
You
that or
guys-
see that.
you
You guys
guys
are
come
like
from a
taking
group-
it to a
you're-
different planet.
You're a total bunch of talkers.
You're taking it to a different planet.
The only way this would have went into
Do you
an armed
acknowledge
conflict is
that-
if we lost.
Do you acknowledge that police were killing black people and getting away with it? Do you acknowledge
When?
like that shit happened?
No,
When?
You
I
don't
don't
acknowledge
agree
any
with
of
it.
that.
I don't.
Do you
agree
acknowledge
with it.
slavery existed in this country?
Yes, long time ago.
Okay. And
And
do
it
you
was
think
started by black kings in Africa.
Jesus.
and do you think that the attitudes from that time permeate down through the generations?
Oh, they were starting to disappear until we elected Barack Obama, and then he
Okay.
brought it back
His
to
fault.
the forefront.
We've talked about racism.
The peak
Yeah.
of racism that we have today is a direct result of Barack Obama.
Okay. Not
Okay.
the people who are racist. It's the
That's
black guy's
correct.
fault.
He's a racist,
Okay.
big time.
Who is?
Barack
Okay.
Obama, motherfucker's
Well,
the worst racist.
let me ask
on
you
the
this.
planet Earth.
He hates
Do
I
you-
suppose you think Al Sharpton's not a racist.
I want to ask you this. Do you think that these kind of attitudes, misogyny, racism, all the things Haley's mentioning, do you think these things will be better or worse during a Trump presidency? Mom.
They will be much better.
better.
Thank you, Mom.
I think better.
Really?
I think our whole country is going to
Wait,
be better.
you think it's going to be better, but literally in the days post his election, the stuff that Haley's mentioning, the text messages to black people saying, get ready for slavery and death threats, the male students on campuses holding signs that say, women are my property. You think that's better?
I think it's temporary and it'll go away.
Okay.
The
Interesting.
outrage that they're spewing right now is totally misinformed,
Yes.
miscalculated, and in 2 to 3 months, it won't even be a thing. You won't even remember you talked about this.
I don't know if that's going to be true. Let's move on to
Well,
Trump's cabinet.
I'm pretty sure it's going to be true.
Okay.
And I was pretty sure we were going to win the election. So I'm going to
Okay.
go on my record.
All right. Susie Wiles, a Florida Republican strategist and the woman who basically ran Trump's campaign, has been named as
You know her maiden name is?
I did know this. I read it. She's a daughter of Pat Summerall.
yes.
That's correct.
Yes.
Susie Wiles, a Florida Republican strategist and the woman who ran his campaign, has been named as his chief of staff. This is the first woman to ever hold that position in American history. So Trump is a feminist. We can all agree. Just kidding. Some people are talking about Elon Musk being put in his cabinet, and whether Elon Musk is in his cabinet or not, he's
He
in
won't
his
be.
immediate sphere of influence. So is Peter Thiel. These are both giant tech billionaires
Yeah.
who want zero regulation in the industries, especially AI, that they are trying to move forward in. Now, do you think it is a good idea to have a billionaire president surrounded by a group of billionaires who will force him, leverage against him to start writing laws or weakening laws to make their industries regulation free? Do you think that's a good idea?
No one is going to force President Trump to do anything that he doesn't want to do. Why would
He
you
will
say
want to
stuff
do
like
it because
that?
he will make money
They'll
too.
pay him.
He is not like Kamala Harris that has things in her ear and is being told what to do. She was
By Barack
she was
Obama.
a puppet of Obama.
Okay.
Trump
You're
will not
right.
do that.
He's a fucking criminal. He's a
No, he's
fraudster.
not.
He's a rapist.
He
Yeah.
won't be
He will do
convicted
anything
of
for
any
gain.
of the above.
He already has
idea
been
that-
convicted of
the
34
idea-
felonies.
Yeah, and it's
The
all
idea
gonna
that
go
you think
plus.
the idea that you think Donald
ever
Trump gives
heard
a
of an
fuck
appellate
about
court,
you
guys?
or anyone else
They're
is
gonna
absurd.
reverse it all.
Okay.
Donald Trump doesn't give a shit about you or anyone else.
Oh,
I'm just asking this question of you, Mom and Dad. Do you think it is a good idea to have a president that's a billionaire?
Yes.
And his closest inner circle
Yes.
all be billionaires? Do you think they have
Smartest
the best
people on
interest?
the planet.
Do you think they have the best interest of the regular person in mind? Or do you think
Kind of like
I think ultimately, yes, these people will do more good for a human race than anything.
why does it matter if you're rich or poor?
because
if the
when you're
people have
that
good
rich,
ideas to have them near you.
I'll give you a good example. It's called Russia.
Okay.
They have what is known as an oligarchy. It is Putin at the top.
I know what it is.
Okay.
You don't have to explain it to me.
All right.
I'm going to anyway.
Then why can't you recognize the parallels?
There is no parallel.
It's the exact same thing happening here.
Donald Trump is not Putin.
I
How about
agree.
his Secretary of State? She's not a billionaire.
No, I'm not. Of course, there are going to be some people in his cabinet who aren't.
I don't mean
But the way
Secretary of
Russia
State, I mean,
operates is it's Putin,
of
and then
staff.
he's
Chief
got
of
about
staff.
5 or 6 of these billionaires who control one or another industries in Russia. The
Good.
metal industry, the oil
for them.
industry, food,
This isn't
etc.
Russia.
What's that?
I said, good for them. This isn't Russia.
No, but that's what
But
he's
it's
trying to line
about
this
to
up to
be.
be.
No, he's not. That's where you're wrong. You
All right.
don't know what you're talking about.
I've
Okay.
never heard of that. Now you're
Never heard
just
of what?
throwing stuff out there.
Look,
he's
do you
trying
think
to
the
make our
average
country
billionaire
Russia?
do you
That's hilarious.
do you think the average billionaire understands what life is like for anybody who doesn't have $1 billion?
Yes,
anybody who doesn't
he
even
was
have $1
poor
million
at one
dollars.
time.
A lot of billionaires understand that.
You know why?
Uh-huh.
Because billionaires make a lot of money, but they lose a lot of money at one time in their lifetime. They go up and down, up and down.
And they pay taxes.
Your father
through the
knows.
Who
ass.
was poor? Who
Your
was
father
poor
knows
that you're talking
billionaires.
about?
Yeah.
Your father
Elon
knows,
Musk.
Both of them.
Elon
Trump
Musk
and
was
Boone
born
Pickens were
with
both poor when they started out.
and they made
And
a
they earned
billion,
it all.
and they
Nobody
lost
cares
a
about
billion.
them. Nobody gives a fuck. We're talking about
you
Trump
just asked
and
me-
Elon
you just
Musk.
You just asked me who, and I just gave you 2 prime examples.
No, I meant who of the people in Donald Trump's circle were born
Well, there are-
poor, because the answer is no one. They were born with fucking diamonds in their pockets, or in his case, emeralds.
Ooh.
Oh my God.
Yeah, Trump himself was given whatever that fucking like $5 million in quotes loan from his dad when he turned 18.
They don't know anything about real Americans. They don't know anything about
Oh
what
my
normal people
God.
go through.
Just
All right.
be quiet. Let him talk.
Let's talk about the economic impacts
Let
here.
them talk.
The immediate impact is the stock market has been surging since the election. Dow Jones and S&P 500 have seen their best week this year. But I mean, I think that has something to do, obviously, with Trump coming into office and industries being like, deregulation is on, baby. We can fuck everybody over now. But this is also coming at the tail end of a historic record-breaking increase in all stock markets under Biden as well. So it could be a little bit of the upward trend. Haley, what do you think the economic impact on America is going to be of this Trump presidency, especially if he does put in place these tariffs that he's been talking about for the past 3
It's
months?
gonna be awesome.
You know,
Thank you, Haley.
I don't typically like just wish ill will on people,
Yeah.
but I feel like
But she's going to.
in the next year, everybody's going to realize, fuck, we made a mistake, because you're going to be paying double for all of your groceries. You're going to be paying double for all the shit that you want to buy online.
Are you kidding,
Um,
Haley? Oh my God.
See, they don't even know. They don't even know what's coming.
Haley.
And so
That's-
it's almost like, I can't wait to
Okay.
watch you all fucking snivel because it's
They
your
won't-
fault.
They won't snivel. This is the thing about it.
Nibble.
I agree with you. I think some shit is going to get very bad, specifically
Yeah.
financially
God.
for the average person. There
Yep.
will be
Oh
no.
my God.
Oh my
You're
God!
gonna
What?
pay less taxes than you were gonna pay under
No, we won't.
Miss. Oh yes, you will.
No, we won't.
Yeah,
There
you
You know
will.
who's paying less taxes? Elon Musk.
No, you will too.
All right.
No,
Well,
we won't.
let's just say.
Yeah, you will.
hang on a
you're
minute,
dumb.
hang
You
on a
don't know
minute.
what you're
Look.
talking about.
Neither of us know what
Oh,
will
I
actually
do.
happen. We're just predicting things here,
Yeah,
but we don't actually
predict.
know. We have to live through the
Predict.
time to see what happens.
That's right.
Yeah.
But let's just come with me
you
on a
guys
theoretical
are, you guys
path.
Are authorities on the economy.
I also
Come-
I also think that your fucking medication for your pre-existing condition is about to fucking skyrocket. So that's going to be a real
Oh,
good time for you guys.
You want to bet?
What? Insulin, you mean?
Hang on.
Yeah.
Hang on.
He's going to get rid of Obamacare. Y'all get
Hang on.
ready.
We're
We're
just
not on
predicting things now.
Obamacare.
Hang on a minute.
We don't
Okay.
give a shit about
Okay.
Obamacare.
Go ahead, Chad.
if I'm just taking you down a theoretical path, okay?
Yes.
And we're going to go both ways here. If
No,
a
you
year
won't.
from now,
Be quiet.
the financial situation in America is fantastic. All prices are down. Stock market is up. Everybody's making more money and paying less for the things they need. Haley, do you think you'll be able to acknowledge that Trump has done good with the economy?
Yeah, for sure. I mean, yeah.
Okay. Mom and dad, let's go the
I'll
opposite
admit
path.
when I'm wrong. That's the difference.
Ooh.
Mom and dad, I want to go the opposite direction. If a year from now, dad, your medication is triple the price. Mom, your Sonic hamburgers are triple the price. You're seeing articles come out left and right about how the working class American is living beyond paycheck to paycheck now, accruing massive debt, and everything is bad. Will you be able to admit that that is because of Trump's financial policies?
That's the way it is now.
Okay, so I'm asking if in a year, let's say things don't change or they get worse, will
they're
you be
gonna
able to
change.
admit
Sure.
Trump is at fault?
Yes. Just say yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay, but neither of you actually believe that.
Yes.
Well, it's not going to happen, so we don't worry
I'm
about
taking you down a theoretical path.
it. Yeah, you and your theoretical paths.
okay. Quit yelling.
Let's get
you
in.
won't
Let's
be
get
able-
a big. Let's both of you just take a big fucking dose of reality instead of your hypothetical horse shit.
Oh my God.
You won't be able to deny it because now we have a Republican
That's
majority
correct.
in the House, the Senate, the Supreme Court, the
That's
president. So
correct.
anything that hits the fan is on you.
That's right. And you're
Now-
going to love every fucking
Well, let-
minute of it.
I
Let
do
me ask you
believe
about
our
this.
Our economy is going to be better. You will not be
Yeah.
paying as much at the grocery store, but I do believe the tariffs that he will put on like
Are gonna
China,
make it cheaper.
the things that we are going to need from China will go up a little, but not a lot. I read an
No, they
article
won't.
like something would go up $3 or $4 more for the consumer. BFD. If he can bring our economy back to where people can afford their food, what's wrong with paying
$3
Two
or
or three-
$4 more times 100 items in your basket, that fucking adds up.
I'm not talking about groceries. I'm talking about like a pair of tennis shoes from Nike or something like that. Something from China,
Okay.
Russia.
Well, speaking of
Yeah.
Russia, Trump has vowed essentially to cut all aid, all funding to Ukraine. I believe
Thank
that will
God.
happen very quickly. And so
Yeah.
Russia is going to steamroll Ukraine.
Let's
Putin's
hope.
plans are to take back that entire region and make it part of the old USSR. He wants to reestablish
Let's hope.
that.
Let's hope.
Do you believe that will be a good thing to give Putin more power in the world? And do you think Trump
Yes.
might
If-
even aid
yes.
Russia?
If he's taking power away from Zelensky and giving it to Putin, that'll be the best thing that ever happened in this world. Because
That
all
is one of my-
Zelensky's done is
Made
take
himself a billionaire.
billions of our money and stuck it in his fucking back pocket.
Made himself
One of
a
my
billionaire.
biggest fears is that we align, that we're the new big bad.
You're
I
being
think so.
Russia, China, like I'm terrified that we are the new big bad. And so it's like, if I move out of the country,
Yeah.
how fucking far do I have to go to get away from Russia for starters? But like, I can't fucking stay. I don't want
I
to be
mean,
part of that shit.
I'll say
Go to
this.
Mexico. Go to Mexico.
I think a lot of people are going through this right now and, trying to figure out like, how should I react? How should I feel about this and all this kind of stuff? And I remember in 2016,
How come all the Hollywood superstars haven't packed their shit and got the fuck out of here already?
what do you mean? They all have houses in every country, any country they
Well,
want.
why
They can
aren't
leave
they
at a
moving
drop
to
of a
them
hat.
and selling their property here?
Because
I don't
it
know, you'll
costs
have to
fucking-
Google
We
that.
don't want them here. We
Okay.
don't want them here.
All right.
You can take Robert De Niro
So-
and shove him up your ass.
All right. So I've thought a lot about like how I reacted to this in 2016, which was 2-3 years maybe into the Trump presidency of staying up every night till 5 a.m., watching
Yeah.
every news channel, reading everything, hoping
What are
that
they
there would
gonna
be some
do?
way to overturn this, whatever. What I have
Mhm.
learned from the 2016 run is the Democrats aren't going to do shit.
Yeah.
This is happening.
They
It's
fucking-
over. They are terrible. I'm firmly convinced of that. They are politically impotent. They
God.
cannot do this. And I don't know what like the next era of political landscape is going to look like, but I think for a while we're fucked. That said, I have kind of vowed to myself to not do what I did in 2016 and to kind of check out from it a little bit. We're going to do this show. If you guys want to still keep doing it every Sunday, I do think right now what we're doing, this conversation we're trying to have, is like more important than it's been in the past 2 years, because we're entering this phase of America that is going to be absolutely fucking insane. And I think continuing to talk to each other is important, because we're already starting to see it in this podcast. You guys are pissed. Haley's pissed. Nobody wants to say anything other than
pissed.
insults.
We're pissed.
I am. I'm fucking mad. And like, you can,
We're not
you
pissed.
can
We're
check
happy.
out because you don't have kids. You
Yeah.
don't have, like, the thought of my kids having kids in this country makes me want to fucking vomit.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I literally want to get them out. So like when we start a family line, it's not fucking American.
Yeah.
Like, I want out.
Well,
I am terrified
Well, then you have to move.
If you really feel
my
that,
children,
Haley,
their children, and their children.
Get your shit and go.
if you really feel
Yeah,
that,
I've
then you
already
gotta go.
articulated
But
to
see,
you. We're gonna see what happens, and if I have to leave, I'm fucking taking them. If it's not safe
all
here
right.
for my kids, we're fucking gone.
Okay, so-
see that way of thinking, to me, I think you're just talking craziness. How
I know.
could I think in our mind we're going, what? How could this not be
In
safe?
in my mind, Donald Trump was the crazy fucking candidate. I thought there's
Yeah.
no way, not a second time. And if
Okay.
you watch these TikToks of people being interviewed around the world, they are gobsmacked. They cannot fucking understand.
Using
we're
that
stupid.
liberal word, gobsmacked. I love it.
Liberal word. It's an
yeah,
English
It's just
word.
a word in the
That's a
dictionary.
liberal word.
I
Okay.
cannot,
And
in
to
good
me-
conscience, leave my daughters
Okay.
here to
Okay.
get pregnant and potentially die because they can't get life-saving abortions.
Yeah.
I can't
Okay,
do
That's
that.
the
Number
way-
one.
That's the way to raise your kids.
Number one.
I can't leave. I
pregnant
can't
and
leave
die.
them to have children here and then be educated by no board of education,
Number one.
learning about fucking
why-
God in school.
Why would you want your girls to have abortions in the first place?
You cannot comprehend that not all abortions are. Some women want their babies and have to have abortions. You can't
Why would
comprehend
you
that.
want? Why would you want your children to have an abortion?
You're not hearing me. Some
You're
people
not hearing
need them
me.
to
I'll
not
take the
fucking
babies.
die.
That's a good question.
I'll
that
take
you
the
never
babies.
answer.
You are
You
not
never
hearing
fucking
me.
answer that question.
No, listen,
You
Mom
aren't
and Dad,
fucking
hang on.
hearing me.
Listen to what she's saying. Listen. Go ahead, Haley,
hearing
please.
it.
There are
Dad, shut up for a
women who
second.
want-
Just listen.
There are women who want their fucking babies and there's shit that's fucking wrong. So they need an abortion to save their fucking lives. Women are dying here. Dying
From
in the state I fucking live in.
Yeah.
They wanted their
One,
children.
two.
then you need to
They
leave.
wanted to have their fucking babies. And the ER said, fuck you. I'm not touching that because then I lose my license and I go to prison for 99 years because that's what you get in Texas for performing an abortion.
And
So
I
to sit
thought
here and let
Trump-
my daughters fucking die on a table, why would I do that?
then that law needs to be changed for if the mother is in distress or the baby, the doctor
give a
intervenes.
fuck.
And I
You
thought
voted
that's
for a
what Trump's
man-
law
You
is.
voted for a man that doesn't give a fuck. He rapes women. He doesn't give a
God.
shit.
Haley, if you really feel this way, you need to go because we don't
agree.
feel this way.
I agree.
Okay.
I've been looking at the fastest way to get the fuck out.
Okay. Go.
All right. Now that is, you're not the only person. I read an article just yesterday that said people in the United States are Googling, how do I leave this country, in record numbers. The search traffic on Google of that specific question is
Where are you
literally
going,
higher
Chad?
than it has ever been. So Mom,
Where are you going, Chad?
I'm staying in LA.
What if you need an abortion? Where are you going to go?
I'm not going to need an abortion, but I
Okay.
have gone down the path, as we all have in our minds, at least on the left, of what will it look like? What will be the thing that might happen where you're like, fuck, I'm out. And so I put together a little list of how authoritarians take power. What are the first things that happen? One of the first big things is shutting down of some kind of mainstream news outlet. I can see as soon as Trump gets into office, he's going to sue the New York Times, CNN, MSNBC. If he successfully takes down like the New York Times, that will be cause for concern. Mom, Dad, would that scare you at all?
No.
No, because he said on day one he will close the border. If I see that, I'm going to be
What?
celebrating.
No, but you're
He
not,
also
you're
has
again not
stated-
listening to
Then
anything
the
I'm
pu-
saying.
Guess
But
what?
I don't give a
Then
shit
the-
about the New York Times. They haven't put out anything of value in about 4 or 5 years.
Then the fentanyl won't come across the border to be able to kill your children.
Okay,
Do
Mom,
you
you're talking
believe
about
in
something
freedom
completely
of
different.
speech? Do you believe in freedom of speech?
Sure.
Yes.
Because he wants to eliminate that.
No, he doesn't.
Oh my God.
Do you,
You
let me
do.
ask you this, Mom and Dad, do you see if he were able to shut down the New York Times through some kind of, let's say that he puts out a lawsuit against them, it goes all the way to the Supreme Court,
Yeah, I'll
which he
throw
controls.
a party.
What?
I'll throw a party.
Okay, so you're all for the eradication of freedom of speech in America.
No, I'm all for the eradication of the people who haven't given us freedom of speech for the last 5 years.
You
New
mean
York
who
Times,
opposed Donald Trump?
MSNBC, CNN,
All right.
they all got to go.
The next
I
thing,
wholeheartedly-
You got to take the DOJ and the FBI with them.
I think Dad's on board with the dictatorship. I don't think
is.
he gives a fuck.
I
I think he'd
damn sure am.
he'd be standing in line ready to go. They don't give a shit.
I agree. I am, correct us if we're wrong. You guys would be okay with Trump just coming in, killing all the Democrats or jailing them, erasing the New York Times, and potentially even killing U.S. citizens, I would assume, right?
Oh my God. No. And if you really think that of
Deportation
us,
20 million illegals.
that
But
really makes me sad.
Well, I mean, Dad has openly said all those things. You haven't, Mom. I think there's hope
Well,
for you yet, but
What do you think's going to happen during mass
Nice.
deportation? If this actually happens, what do you think happens during a mass deportation? With
People-
military
They get
and
loaded on
police getting
planes.
involved.
yeah.
flown back to their home
People-
Do you think
with
they're all just
no-
going to go quietly?
People
Yeah.
with no
If they don't, they're going to go dead.
people with no record,
Exactly.
no paperwork that has their name on it, that they're here legally by
Wait,
our
So
government. or
you
here-
realize there are undocumented immigrants just waiting for their papers, like effectively paying taxes right now in the United States and living among us. They are
That's
just simply
right.
waiting on their papers.
Guess what? If they can show that, then they would get to stay. There are
Would they?
also illegals that have come over with no documentation.
Terrorists.
No documentation.
But
He wants
let me,
to,
let me
he
ask you
wants
this
to
though,
like,
Mom.
Here's
Imagine
what I
this.
believe. I believe
I would
anybody.
rather have them dead
I'm
than
talking.
us when they blow something up.
I believe anybody that wants to escape a bad country should be able to come to the United States, but to do it the right way at the ports, at the places that you can come across. We've been over this before. Your grandmother came over
Okay.
at Ellis Island. My grandmother, your great grandmother, Ellis Island. They put their name in a record. They put it on a ledger. Where are you going to
You
go?
believe
they
that.
gave the city they were going. What?
Donald Trump doesn't believe that because he wants to make it so that no one from any Muslim country can come into the United States.
Not if they're
Right.
documented.
Right now,
Hang
the
on,
way
Mom.
terrorists
Wrong.
Mom, let me ask you one
on
question,
that
and Dad,
side, it's
if I
probably a
may,
good
if I
idea.
may, if I
Yes.
may, if I may. There are a certain amount of people that are dreamers in this country, kids that were brought here by their parents. They
Right.
are not legal, but they have only really grown up in the United States since age 0. They know nothing else. This is where they live. Should they be deported?
They need to become U.S. citizens. Then they can stay. What's
Okay.
wrong with
Yeah.
that?
If
What's
they've
wrong
been-
with asking
if they've been-
someone?
if they've been
that
here for 20
is-
fucking years,
What's wrong with asking someone that has been here for 20 years to be able to speak English by then, to be able
They
to
can.
go down to the courthouse, put their hand up and swear that they're going to be a U.S. citizen? They should be able to stay.
All right.
Yes. Why
Let,
not?
well, let me paint a picture for you, because in this mass deportation that he's talking about doing, there's really only one way to do it. It's knocking on doors, the U.S. military, dragging people out of their houses, ripping families apart, putting them in detention camps around the southern border or wherever they think they're going to send them back to. And you're going to be seeing that all over the news. You're going to be seeing U.S. military.
I would start in Denver, Colorado, with that suburb called Aurora, that they have taken over apartment building complexes, that the Venezuelans are there with machine guns, and they won't let any Americans in. That's where I would start. And I would take, I wouldn't even take the National Guard. I'd take in like real soldiers, like hit squads. Get the fuck out of here. You don't belong here.
You take in hit squads.
I would take in people
Oh,
that
that
if they're not
sounds
going to
remarkably
give us
like
their
who
guns
had-
and leave.
What?
These are from Venezuela.
What
Dang.
politician had private hit squads, a private military police force. Who was that? Oh, it was Hitler. That is something. That's another thing that was on my authoritarian list.
Our country
Literally
has to be
a
cleaned
specialized
up because
militarized
Biden and
police
Harris
force.
let these people in.
Yeah.
It has to be. Donald Trump's the only one that can do it.
Okay. So you
If
believe?
not, you know what? Haley
Yeah.
could just stay here. It could be a third world country.
Uh-huh.
Okay, Dad's saying you're sore losers.
What? How are we sore losers? We're having a conversation about this. He's the sore winner. He's screaming at us. You guys won.
Just because Donald Trump won doesn't mean I have to accept.
Of course.
that
Just
I-
like you guys
that I
didn't
like
accept
it.
Joe
I
Biden.
mean, I don't have to.
No, we didn't. And you know what we did? We went with it. We let it roll and look
Yes.
where it got us. Yeah.
And that's what we're doing too. But what I'm trying to talk about in the signs of authoritarian rule segment here is what are the things we should be looking out for that are going to tip us off? And I'm curious,
Okay.
Mom and Dad, your position on it. If you started to see some of these things happen, would it alarm you? So Donald Trump erasing the New York Times, Dad would actually like that. Wouldn't alarm you. What about jailing political rivals or voices of political dissent?
Yeah, I'm fucking leaving. And any of this shit starts popping off, like
Yeah.
we're gone.
Whose political rivals do you think he's going to put in jail? I don't get
His
that
own.
either.
He has openly said that's one of his goals.
Yeah. And you know what? I think he is going to pardon both Biden and Hunter. And they're the most illegal pieces
Pardon,
of crap
Biden
in
and
our
Hunter,
country
they're not convicted of anything.
for what they did.
He's convicted.
He's
Yeah.
going to
Donald
pardon
Trump.
them.
He's going to pardon himself. Do you think that should be allowed?
Yes.
So you do
No.
believe he's above the law?
I think he's going to get our country back where it needs to be.
He's going to make the law count.
Yeah,
Spoken
he
like
will
Jim
make
Jordan.
the
I
law.
just watched him on Meet the Press. He answers no questions.
He will make the law. Yeah. He's going to make
you
people
think-
accountable.
Do you think the president should be able to pardon himself from convictions?
I don't know. I don't know.
The
Dad?
answer is no.
Government,
The
yeah.
answer is no.
Do you believe any U.S. citizen is above the law, or should it apply equally to everyone?
Well, if every citizen is above the law, then we don't have a government.
I agree with you. So there is one
Mm-hmm.
citizen right now who is above the law. That's Donald Trump. Do you think
Oh,
that's
my-
fair to the rest of us?
He won the election. He's not above the law.
No, he is. All of the
Blair said that he's been convicted 34 times.
Yeah.
But
He
the-
should have been.
the sentencing is now
He
gone.
should-
You're a
have
fucking
been-
blowhard.
He should
do
have
you-
been
wait a
in
minute.
prison before he ever got the chance to run.
I
Yeah,
agree.
He should be in jail.
Hang on a minute. Dad's back there screaming that I'm a blowhard. All of those convictions, the sentencing didn't happen. They postponed the sentencing so that it wouldn't happen before the election. Now the
Right.
election has happened and there will be no sentencing.
Right.
That has dissipated. So talking about being above the law, he's literally convicted of
Not above
34
the law.
felonies.
And so was
He
the
will
Biden
not be
crime
sentenced.
family. So is the Biden crime family. Come on.
No, they
Take
weren't.
it both ways.
They weren't convicted of anything. What are you talking about?
They will be.
They will be if it continues to go on.
So again, we're talking about Donald Trump right now. Don't
Right.
think about Biden and the crime family.
Yeah, we can't switch to the Democrats.
just-
that do
they
that.
You're not
are
answering my
eternal-
question.
They're eternal apologists. They
Yes.
will never
Whenever I
accept
ask
that
a
he
question-
is a fucking criminal.
You switch it to, well, what about the Biden crime family? I'm asking you about this. Donald Trump,
I
is
just feel he
convicted-
was railroaded into all of that stuff.
It doesn't
he
matter.
really was. They were.
that doesn't
trying-
matter.
If his big toe was bigger than the second one, they would have taken him to court on something.
Okay.
They were trying to take him down that way. That's what I feel. No
Okay.
matter what they threw at him, he
It was all
came out
fake.
on the other end. I did.
He was
do
convicted
think-
of 34 felonies.
right by he was railroaded into it
By a big fat black.
by a
I
big-
keep I
yeah.
keep seeing this on the internet. Anyone convicted of a felony, like in real life, doesn't
Mhm.
get a job. It's
Yeah.
hard to find a job. Our
Mhm.
fucking president of the United States is going to have
Mhm.
34 felonies.
No,
No, he isn't. He's going to have 0.
zero. That's he will have zero.
And that's what I'm asking you. You think that's fair?
Yes.
That a billionaire president can just erase all of his problems by winning the election?
Are bogus bullshit
Dad is
anyway.
yelling all 34 are bogus bullshit anyway.
Our
Okay.
government is fucking over. It's done. Like democracy is dead.
I'm not sure that that's true. I am like, I was trying to get to this point earlier before Dad kind of broke in there.
Time to quit.
For what it's worth,
I am. Everybody, I'm out.
Bob, be quiet.
For what it's worth, I think that I am going to look at this time around much differently. Sorry, my cat is over here trying to tear my door apart. Scotty, stop that. Scotty. I'm going to try and take a different approach this time around. Like I said last time, it was 2 or 3 years of just debilitating anxiety, paranoia, fear. This time around, I'm not going to engage with that. I'm completely disengaging from mainstream media, who I believe is a massive part of this problem. What's happening, Mom?
Nothing. I'm trying to find sugar.
I'm going to do this show with you guys every Sunday, hopefully, if you want to continue doing it, and have these conversations, because, again, I think they're more important now than they were in the 2 years leading up to this, as we witness whatever is about to happen with Trump. Now, I will say this about the first time around with Trump. All of these same fears were there about descending into authoritarian rule. He's going to destroy the American, all of the different foundational systems of our government and legislative system, et cetera, et cetera. And he weakened them, but they held for the most part. He lost that election in 2020. And yes, he tried to have a military coup take over the fucking Capitol building, but that didn't happen. And Joe Biden was then president for 4 years. So I am choosing actively to hang on to that fact and hope that 4 years from now, he will be gone. And whatever damage he's going to do, he's going to do. But God, I just hope that it's not as bad as we all think it is. And that hope, I guess, allows me to look at this a little differently, at least than I did in 2016, and not flush 2 to 3 years of my life down the toilet watching Rachel Maddow.
If you're going to get off,
I just can't. I can't do that.
Yeah.
Like, it directly affects me, my kids, everyone in my bakery, literally every day. Like, I have to pay attention to Texas legislation, like, every day. What are they going to do now?
Sugar Bear says, if Chad, you're getting off all networks and all, TV and all that, how are you going to do the podcast if you don't know what's current?
I'll know what's current. I mean, I'll see what's happening, but I'm not going to spend hours a day watching the news like I did in 2016. I will get the pieces of information that I need, but I'm not devoting my life to it. Mom, I had one more question, and this is for Dad too, and for you as well, Haley. Let's say there's a theoretical outcome of this where either because, Trump supporters are now emboldened, or Trump himself starts taking legal action against public dissenters. What if something were to happen?
Bob, be quiet for a minute. Go ahead, Chad.
I would ask Dad one question for next week. Can you be nice to us?
No.
All right. What if in the very near future, something happens to Hive Bakery? Either brick through the window, cops start harassing her because she's making anti-Trump cookies, something along these lines, all the way up to she gets arrested for making cookies. What would your reaction to that be, Mom?
I would be down in the jail bailing her ass out, and then she'd be done baking and we'd leave.
Done baking? Why?
Why would I put her back in that situation where they're going to go after her again?
Well, it's not your decision, first of all, but...
What?
It's not your decision to put her wherever you think she belongs.
She's my kid, and I'm not going to leave her in harm's way, so I'll get her the hell out of there.
Okay.
With my gun.
Dad, do you think would you be in the jail bailing Haley out, or do you think she would deserve whatever repercussion she gets?
He'd bail her out. He just said so, and you know it. You effing know that. Both of you do.
I'm just curious, because every once in a while, Mom, you will, on this very show, you've told Haley, like, you need to stop making those cookies. Something bad's going to happen. But you fail to see that that's her freedom of speech to make the cookies.
If I was in there, if I was baking right now, I don't think I'd be in there baking anymore. Okay, Dad said you need to do Trump cookies and do it both ways, and people wouldn't be mad at you both ways.
Okay, I also just want to put this out there, moving forward on this podcast. We have to have you and Dad together in the same frame, both paying attention for 1 hour and engaged in the conversation.
Over 5
He said the podcast was over 5 minutes ago.
All right, fair enough. Well, there you have it. He doesn't have all day. What does he got to do?
You know what he's got to do?
Sleep in that fucking chair?
We got to go see Shiny.
Yeah. Well, this was our first podcast back after this Trump victory.
This is not a good podcast.
No, look. That's why this podcast is called The Necessary Conversation.
It is necessary. I'll tell you why. I have people in my bakery that vote like me and their parents vote like you, and they don't talk about it. And there's just an underlying kind of elephant in the room all the time, resentment. You don't say how you feel. I can at least say how I feel, and it makes me feel better. And you can maybe see where I'm coming from.
No.
Absolutely. I really think this country right now, the division between left and right, blue and red, however you want to look at it, is now more stark than it has ever been. And for the next 4 years, I think it will only get worse.
I had no idea that you two would like attack us today like you did.
I'm not attacking. What do you mean attacking?
I thought you'd be moping a little bit. And you know what? I've never rubbed it in your face that our side won. Even on our Instagram account, I didn't put all these bad memes, whatever they're called. I saw terrible ones. I saw terrible funny ones. I didn't put them out there.
Okay.
Because that's hurting people's feelings. I didn't do that.
Right. But you're now saying we're attacking you, which is a kind of victim play that you like to do.
What?
We're not attacking you. We're talking about how we feel and think about this. And I'm asking questions.
I'm just angry. I'm angry.
Well,
I'm not trying to attack you.
We didn't.
I mean, you did vote for Donald Trump, but I'm not trying to attack you. I am just trying to articulate how I feel. I
voted for Donald
angry
Trump.
And I'm scared, and I got to figure out what the fuck we're going to do with our lives.
I voted for Donald Trump so that my grandchildren wouldn't be in the gulag and under communist rule. That's why I voted for Donald Trump.
Authoritarian better than communist?
Yes, I don't like communism. I wouldn't want communism.
Do you know what an authoritarian is, Mom?
Guess what? That's why my grandmother's family got out of there. She was on the border.
Here's the irony of this whole thing. People fled their countries in search of a better fucking life because of religious persecution.
Right.
I believe that we are now going to experience that here in the United States, and we are now going to be the immigrants looking for a better life.
Guess what? We're just going to have to see. We're going to have to wait and see how this turns out. That's all we can do.
We will. For what it's worth, one of my very good friends who is also on our side, Haley, and is taking this very personally and, is not in a good way. She did have some hope. She had a good message of hope for me last time we talked, and it was this. All of the TikTok psychics are saying Donald Trump won't make it to office.
That's funny. That's funny.
So we'll see. Yes, Mom, closing thoughts, please.
Michael Jackson is alive and well. That's what TikTok says.
Okay. Haley, closing thoughts?
I don't know. I don't know. Like, I'm trying my best to not be completely just fucking defeated. And, people come into the bakery and they're like, you can't leave. I mean, I had people literally come in like wanting to hug me. Everybody was crying, like an entire circle of people in my lobby, like swapping stories and what are we going to do? And I've had groups reach out to me about, do you know places that are safe for trans people to eat in your area? Like there's a thickness to the air. And
Bob, where are you going?
I'm still processing, I think, because I was sad and now I'm angry, and I know there's like a rationale that's going to happen at some point. Like, you can't just cut and run. You got to fight. Because typically that's who I am. I feel like I'm on the right side of history, and in a time like this where you have to pick sides, I feel like I'm on the right side. You go through history and you see things like the Holocaust, and you have to ask yourself, who am I in that scenario? And I feel like I'm on the right side. And so do you fucking flee, or do you stay and fight?
You're way off the edge here. It's nothing going to be like that.
Of the Holocaust,
nothing going to be like that. Okay.
All right. Well, this is the end of the show. As always, even in this most trying time, we must tell each other that we love each other despite being on the opposite sides of this, despite some of us wanting to leave the country, et cetera, et cetera. Haley, I love you. We will get through this. Mom, I love you. Dad, wherever you are, screaming in the background, I love you too, even though you're a sore winner.
That's funny.
Mom, I love you. Dad, I love you. Chad, I love you.
Oh, that was sincere. That was very sincere. I love it. Chad, I love you. Haley, I love you. Chad, I love you. Haley, I love you. I would bail you both out of jail, and you effing know that. Even if you were in there for murder. Okay.
Oh.
Bob, I love you.
I love everybody.
No, you're not doing it from a distance, or you're not going to do it anymore. Yeah.
I love everybody. And I'm going to see my horsey.
Oh, God.
All right. Well, we'll be back next week. Question mark. We shall see. Good luck out there, everybody, fighting as we move into these uncharted waters. Stay safe. And if you do have somebody on the other side of the aisle from you, whatever that may be, try to talk to them, because I do think that that is a huge problem in this fucking country, is the two sides are split. Nobody talks. And the other whoever's on the other side of that line becomes the enemy, period. We are all Americans, after all, human beings.
They could have just been misinformed and not racist, bigot, sexist. They could have just been misinformed. You never know. Yeah. You got to ask them why they voted, because I have found that some of the people I know, when I ask them, they literally have no clue what Donald Trump's platform or lack thereof is.
Of course.
And they just are trying to, pay my bills and the economy's bad.
We never knew what Harris's was either. So
some of it is misinformation. And so there's a little bit of grace, I think, with those people. Now, MAGA, unfriend. Yeah.
I read an article just in closing.
Say we love each other. We need to stop it now.
Wait, I have one more little thing to say. I read it. It's very quick. I read an article that said the number one response in these polls that were asked of the question, do you think Donald Trump will become an authoritarian? The number one response was, what's an authoritarian?
Yeah.
That's the country we're living in. Thank you for joining us. We will be back next week.
Bye.
Bye.
Dad said hang up.
All right. I'll catch you guys next week. Bye.
Bye.